Who doesn't need a grumpy frog in their life? I'm kind of a grumpy frog sometimes, if I'm honest. Hello and welcome back to Tales from Midnight Diary. This is a video podcast, so technically a vlog, where I chat about the things I've been making. I do intersperse videos on my channel. We have making vlogs, we have behind the scenes at the diary vlogs, we have this style which is more traditional knitting, crochet, fibre arts podcast format. And other tutorials and other bits and pieces as well. But this one is a kind of standard format video podcast. So it's only going to be a quick one. It's quite late in the evening. So the lighting's a bit peculiar because, having said last week that I love keeping it natural and that I don't have to go through all this rigmarole to chat to you, it's so dark that I've had to dig out studio lights. We found them. We knew exactly where they were. My husband sort of went, oh, when I said I needed them, because they are in a cupboard, in a box, at the bottom of a pile of lots of boxes. Luckily, it didn't take too long for him to get it out, and he's happy because he gets to reorganise the cupboard now. He likes organising, so I'm going to let him do that after bedtime. So what I've actually got for you today is more about new books that are coming out. I've been sent some more fantastic new books from Search Press. As you may know, I am a freelance sales representative for them, and I look after the shops, the retail clients in the Southwest. So I'm not here plugging and selling to you. I don't get anything for this. I just am excited and would like to share them because I love crafts and I love books, and I think some of you do too. So so for example, here's a really beautiful one, Natural Soaps, that has just arrived in the last week, and I've had lots of fun doing photography for this. I don't know when I'm going to find the time to do all this, but I've got to find it somehow. Oh, it's just lovely. So I've got a little stack. I've pulled a few of my favourites of the new books that have come out to share with you, and we'll see about that. And I've got some knitting projects for you as well. So that's what we've got to look forward to this time. I hope you're well. Thank you very much for being here. And yeah, buckle up and hopefully you enjoy what I've got for you today. Let's start with knitting. Inspired by my recent finish of the cable baby sweater that I shared with you last week, I've mostly been thinking about trying to get some of my works in progress finished and getting these babies knit for as well. So I cast on the second sweater. There's not a lot to show you. As you know, I'm doing this sweater twice for two little baby girls. And that's as far as I've got. I've literally done the garter and the setup row. I was a bit worried because the neckline on this seems a lot smaller than the neckline on the first one I did, but I've decided that with some stretching it will be okay. My favourite cast on for top down sweaters, particularly baby sweaters, I don't know why I said that, I've never done an adult one, I only do baby ones. Babies proportionally seem to have quite large heads compared to the rest of them. And so you need a lot of stretch. So my favourite go-to cast on is the long tail cast on. And there is a 2-minute tutorial on my channel should you wish to check it out. But yeah, with stretch, it will be fine. I saw something and it absolutely blew my mind. It's like if you put your hands like that above your head, but they might not even meet. If you're a baby, all of that is your head. That blows my mind. And actually, having seen it and having seen it demonstrated on this video, that wasn't enough for me. I had to grab my poor little boy's arms, because he was only a tiny baby at the time, and do that. And I couldn't even close them over his head. I was like, oh my goodness. So that's worth remembering. So yeah, you can see a myriad of stitch markers there, far more than I like to use in the start of a project. I've not bothered with the beginning and end of round because I always knit. When you start to knit in the round, I always work the first couple of rounds flat. So technically as rows, because it means that when you join in the round, you're less likely to twist your stitches. It's really important that your stitches are all facing the same way, because otherwise you end up with like a Mobius loop or like the infinity sign, and you don't notice until it's too late, and you can't fix it. You have to undo it. So my friend Jude said when I was doing the boxy for the first time, he's like, make sure you knit the first couple of rounds flat. And I do it for everything. It doesn't have to be 300 odd stitches on the needles like it is for the boxy. It can be as simple as 60 stitches on an Aran weight baby sweater. So there's that. If you weren't, whacked myself in the nose. If you weren't here last week and didn't see it, I'll just flash last week's finish at you. There we are. So that's what we're making, a second one of those. But yeah, if you want more information about that sweater, I'd suggest checking out last week's episode. So that is the next new cast on. So I cast one off, cast it straight back on again. I was very good. And then other than that, I've been working on Jude's second sock. So this is Stylecraft Heart and Soul. I showed again the finished sock, the first sock last week. I'll pop a picture up. But yeah, they're not going to match. They're going to be fraternal rather than identical twins. But Jude doesn't care about that, which suits me. I have finished the gusset and I'm working my way down the foot. Just glancing at this, I think I've done about 10 rounds, so I've got quite a few to go, and then the toe. But it will go quickly. But the problem I've got is where I've been knitting so dedicatedly on things and trying to make the most of my knitting time recently, as I've been working so much that the little bits of time I get for crafting are even more precious than normal. I don't know if you can see, because I've been at the cafe today, the coffee grounds go into the cuts on my fingers. So you can actually see, I don't know how well you can see that in this light, but can you see there's a mark there? That's a hole. And on my thumb, that's a hole. And on this thumb, this one's the really painful one, I think. Was it this one? Yeah. So yeah, I've got another couple of holes there where I have literally poked holes in myself with my knitting needles. I'm an English thrower style, but I do shove my stitches off my needle with my thumbs and fingers. And if you knit enough with the same yarn and the same needles, you're gonna get holes in the same places. And you can always poke it, and it's anyway. So I say I'm not dirty. It's just coffee gets everywhere, and you can see. The advantage is, for the first time, you can see what I'm talking about with the cuts in my fingers. This is why I can't use higher sharps. I know some people absolutely love them and swear by them, and I really wanted to love them, but it was like, ow, 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 every time I was knitting, which makes me sound like a mournful puppy, so no one needs to hear that. So yeah, so I've had to kind of switch it up and mix between projects. Then I thought that Robin's cousin, or second cousin technically, because it's my husband's cousin's little boy, I thought he was turning one in June. Nope, turns out he's turning one today. So where I was thinking, oh, I've got lots of time, this is fine, I've not got lots of time at all, and I've got to whip him up something. It's not obligatory, of course, but I like knitting for small humans. So, that was dramatic. My son's music box is beneath me and I've just dumped my project bag onto a tambourine. So it's a yeah, so what I've done is I've dug out a pattern. Now, this is where I was so good that I was talking to you guys about knitting patterns the other week. This Sirdar Snuggly Baby Crofter. It's just a little, I'm trying to do it without the glare from the studio lights, a little V-neck sweater. There we go. Little vest. And I've got enough yarn to do this. I went into my spring yarn basket, which you can kind of see here, looking a bit depleted. Let's put you back. You're right, not feeling too seasick. And I had a ball of, I've wrapped it all up. Why have I done that? Wrapped it all up in the tape measure. Anyway, I had a ball of Cotton Soft candy from King Cole, which should be enough to do the vest. And so I cast that on Sunday, and here we are. This is still attached because I haven't found any scissors yet. The back of said vest. There's not a lot to show. It's just a simple 2x2 rib and stocking stitch sweater vest. And we just call them vests, don't really call them sweater vests, but hopefully most of you will know what I'm talking about if I call it a sweater vest. Yeah, I really like the yarn, like the way it knits up. It's almost like a crisscross pattern where you've got these odd stitches in the variegated. I think that's really pretty. I'm not enjoying knitting with the yarn. There's nothing wrong with it. The actual finished piece is great. The tension is great. The fabric is nice. It's not too loose, as you can see, holding it up to the light. But within moments of starting to work with it, it felt as though my fingers were coated in a powder. It just felt very, very peculiar. So I'm not loving it. And also another weird thing I found is where I've been knitting on it, I've been getting pins and needles. I don't know if that's the way I'm holding my arms and hands, but I never really get them. And my whole fingers went numb and sort of fizzy. So I was having to do this and take little breaks when I was knitting. So I was trying to get this done by today, but then I realised, A, my thumb hurts because I've poked lots of holes in my thumb because the cotton isn't as forgiving as like a wool. And B, I'm not going to see the child. Certainly not this week. His birthday is obviously a Tuesday. That's midweek. I've got my friend staying this week. I'm so excited. Mina is coming to visit, my friend, the knitting expat. She's arriving tomorrow. This time tomorrow she'll be here. And it's just, I'm so excited. Anyway, and they're moving house next weekend. So they've got other things to be worrying about than who's turned up to give their son a present. So, by the by, there we are. You are going to see a few of those because that is actually the sweater vest I'm going to be knitting for my son and his cousin, my brother's little boy, ahead of welcoming their baby girl in the summer. So you're going to see the same pattern a few times, but I think that's just realistic, isn't it? We do, as makers, have seasons and time in which we do things, and sometimes it's all about innovating and trying new things, and sometimes it's about old faithfuls that you know are going to be reliable with good results and the intended recipient will like it. I am really tempted to cast on lots of new things. I really want to do like a beautiful intricate cabled sweater. I really want to do one for my son. He hasn't had one from me yet because my theory is they grow so quickly that he won't get to wear it for very long. But now he's getting a little bit bigger. I want to do that. I also went through and counted up my works in progress, which I haven't done all year. And I haven't done since I used my work in progress board for my son's birthday, and I used a permanent marker and basically killed the work in progress board, and I've never bothered with it. But out of curiosity, I went through and counted up my works in progress, and there are actually a few more than I expected. Quite a lot of socks, 12 pairs of socks. And then obviously you've got the ones that have been languishing for a while. So I'm kind of motivated to crack on with those and get those done. To be fair, it's usually around this time of year that I run the Crack Those Whips knit along. I think I'll run it again, but it's just going to be casual and just join in if you feel like it. You can tell me what whip you're cracking in the comments below. The idea is that sort of around this time, headed into summer, I start to think about how much is on my needles and how much I need to get off my needles before I can cast things on for the winter season. Not because I'm worried about how many works in progress I've got, but simply because I don't have enough pairs of needles and I shouldn't really buy any more. So maybe we'll do that, the Crack Those Whips cowl. Let's start now. Why not? Tell me what work in progress you've got on your needles at the moment below, and how many you'd like to get done by the end of summer. It will time in with Stash Dash and Summer Sock Camp and all these sorts of things that's happening annually. There are no prizes. There's no rules. It's just tell me what you're working on. Tell me what whips you're cracking. If you dare, tell me how long they've been on the needles or hooks. I've got a couple that actually are coming up for 3 or 4 years, which is pretty bad. Well, not bad as in there's a problem with it. We are a judgment-free zone here, just to be completely clear. But yeah, it's just out of fun. So there we go. So life stuff. Let's talk a bit about that before I go into the books. I mentioned last week there's been another change, there's some more exciting news, and this is partly why I'm a bit out of whack, because my routine's changed. My little boy has started preschool. It's basically daycare, nursery, but it's preschool and wraparound care. at the most fantastic nursery. We were so pleased to find this place, or this preschool for. I keep calling it nursery, but they call themselves preschool. And it's just fantastic. We walked in and we knew that this was going to be the right place for Robin. They were fantastic. They were responding to the children's needs. It had a real balance. It was child-led. It was everything that we wanted. And he was just in there up to his armpits on the taster morning. And then it transpired that, because we were looking for year-round care, we needed childcare, that they were term time only, which was devastating because we really loved it. And I work in a cafe which relies on tourism. We're in a tourist town. I think the Torbay area is worth the tourist trade is worth 500 million or billion or something crazy like that. I think it's 500 million over the summer. I was reading in an article about a Ferris wheel earlier. I don't just randomly know how much our tourist industry is worth, but there was a 500 million figure thrown about. So I cannot not work during the summer in that situation. So I thought, oh, blow, what are we going to do here? And then I happened to see that they were advertising. So there we go. I'm changing jobs again. I have interviewed for, been accepted for, been offered the job, and I'm going to, I have started. I go in with Robin, although we're in separate rooms, once a week now to do my induction and initial bits of training, alongside working at the cafe, alongside Search Press, alongside this. So it's gone absolutely mad. And I'll be starting my early years initial teacher training in September, because although I was a qualified teacher, if you've been here a while, you'll know this, I taught for 10 years. I taught secondary, so Key Stage 3 through to Key Stage 5, which if you're not from the UK is 11 to 18 or thereabouts. So it's the whole of your kind of high school education. You can't obviously do early years with that because birth to 5 is very, very different to teaching teenagers for an hour a few times a week. I'm doing my early years initial teacher training from September. Hopefully I've got an interview with the provider, the training provider, next week. So wish me luck with that one. So at the moment on Tuesdays, I'm going into preschool and doing some of my settling in induction training with them. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be going back into the classroom. I was thinking about changing to working with early years, but I'd thought about it being a couple of years down the line, like when Robin went to school. So this has been a little bit of a shock to the system because it's meant weighing up sort of changes. I was hoping to use these next couple of years to focus on being mum and to get a bit of balance and to see what happens with the diary and see what happens with the design work and things like that. I've got Yarningham coming up, as you know, and I'm working with Search Press, and that involves a lot of travel. So it's taken a bit to get my head around, but it feels so right. It feels so right. I'm so excited. It's a setting I absolutely love. I've chosen to send my son there. So, that's a good endorsement. And they've been really welcoming. And yeah, although it is a change, as I say, a couple of years ahead of schedule, I'm so excited because it means I'm going to get weekends with my boys and holidays, and I can still do Search Press around it, and I can still do this around it. And it sets me up for when Robin does go to school and I then need to be around during the holidays, because that's just what's going to happen. So yeah, that's my other bit of exciting news. I'm just so ridiculously pleased and happy. I can't begin to tell you. I love teaching. It's my happy place. I love working with young people. Little ones is going to be new, but I seem to be doing all right with Robin. So I had to do a taster activity, and it's just there's so much joy. There's so much joy, and there's so much I've got to learn, and so much I'm excited to learn. And if I say excited anymore, you're all going to think your TVs are malfunctioning and just turn me off. So I'm gonna stop saying that word. But it's good, guys. It's really good. So I am still going to be looking after Search Press around it, and I am still going to be teaching. So I've got a couple of classes coming up at Will on the X. We've got some more planned for the autumn, and yeah, it's going to be fab. So Having said that, Tuesdays I'm meant to be in the preschool training, but my in-laws were poorly on Friday, so I didn't have childcare on Friday, so I had to swap a shift, and the result is this mess in front of you. I actually don't know which way is up. I can't even remember what I've talked about so far today. I'm going to assume we're ready to talk about books. Okay, so I know that not all of you are just knitters and crocheters. You've got so many other interests as well, and I hope you won't mind me sharing some of my absolute favourites that have popped through my door. What a great perk. I get sample books. Look at this. Nature Imprinted, the Beginner's Guide to Lino Cut. Look at this front cover. It's so stunning. It's the complete guide to lino printing with 10 nature-inspired designs by Jane Spink. So beautiful. So beautiful. Master the intricate process of creating nature-inspired lino cut prints with the guidance of artist and printmaker Jane Spink. Explore the essential tools and materials needed to embark on your own artistic adventure, from selecting the perfect lino block, I mean, who even knew there were different types of lino block, to choosing the ideal cutting tools and inks. Learn how to translate the features and textures of birds, flowers, leaves and more onto lino and transforming them into ink masterpieces. It's just so beautiful. I haven't done lino cut since I was in high school, and we did that for art class. But look at this. This is Jane Spink, and if you just knock myself out. If you are in Essex, specifically Rayleigh, she's popping up at the Rayleigh Mill. She is, a Rayleigh Windmill. How cool is that? On the weekend of the 11th and 12th of May. And I happen to be in Essex on the 11th and 12th of May because it is my aunt's 50th birthday. So I don't know if there are any people here who watch So Sweet Samuel, but So Sweet Samuel, Lindsay, she is my aunt. And she's turning 50. She's turning 50 in 2 weeks' time, and we're going down. First time going back to Essex since last summer. I popped back in the October, but it's the first time that hubby and Robin have been back. So we're going down for her birthday, and I think if I am there, I'm going to drop in on this on the way back. So I might even vlog it. How exciting is that? And it's such a beautiful book. And look at the colours, and I really want to try this. Would you be interested if I went to that in seeing a vlog about it? I just think it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful hardback book. It retails at just $19.99, which for a beautiful instructional book like this, I think is really reasonable. Again, I am not being paid to say any of this. Okay, this is my genuine. I mean, look. Those pictures are so detailed. I love it. Now I'm going to come back to sewing because this is one I've been so excited to see. So it's called String Quilts by Carolyn Forster. And the idea of a string quilt is you are making it with, to quote So Sweet Violet, Jules, with all your beautiful bits. So when you are doing a sewing project and you buy your fabric and you cut out your pieces, you're left with bits. It's just the nature of the beast. And what do you do with these beautiful bits? You make a string quilt. So it says sustainable patchwork projects using fabric scraps. Now that's great because with any craft that you dive down, crafty rabbit hole, there is an unavoidable initial outlay. There's your initial outlay for your first project, and then there's the kind of, I'm sure lots of you have done this, the extra outlay. So for example, I have bought the things from one of my clients in Totnes. She has a creative crafts and needlework, a beautiful shop. It featured in my Vlogmas. I think I've got some vlog footage to share of her from my vlog when my friend Lee came to visit. Anyway, one shop is all fabric and one shop is everything else, yarn and cross stitch and bits and pieces like that. So I was in the fabric section, which is where her desk is, which is where we were chatting, and my friend Lee was shopping for fabric, and I fell in love with this pyjama pattern. I want to make my son pyjamas. It's been something I've wanted to do for ages, but by the time I got everything I needed, it was like 50 quid. Don't tell my husband. He won't mind. And it tells you how to lay out your pattern pieces economically, which is great. Naomi's awesome. She sells in bits of a metre. She doesn't oversell to you, so you're not stuck with a whole extra ½ metre that you don't need. But nevertheless, there's going to be beautiful bits left over, and what do you do with them? And this is what I'm really excited about. It doesn't matter what shape they are, you can use them. I mean, have a look at the cushion on the back there. Isn't that stunning? The idea is minimising waste, and that makes me feel so much better, because it's a bit like our scrappy blankets and scrappy socks and things, and the crochet granny square blankets and advent mini swaps and all that sort of thing, all these ways we find to use our beautiful bits that are left over in yarn for knitting and crochet. You can do it with fabric as well. Because I know there are lots of creative people out there. There's probably some of you now rolling your eyes going, come on, Jen, we could do this. But not everyone has that natural creative instinct, and I certainly don't. And I'm too new to quilting and patchwork to have a clue really where to go with it. But the fact that this book means that actually when you're buying fabric for a project, you don't have to worry, because you're going to have a use for all of it. It's brilliant. So this is a basic string block quilt design. If I show you there, so beautiful. It's got the little layout there and all the hints and tips. I'm ridiculously excited about this. And string stars, and the stars themselves, you'd normally have each one of these diamonds being a solid piece of fabric, but actually if you look at them carefully, can you see they're made up of lots of different bits of fabric? So you really can use every scrap to create something beautiful. What are the other bits I like? It's and also I just love it. It's just because these are string quilts, these are scrappy quilts, she doesn't skimp on the instruction. And she doesn't skimp on telling you how to care for it, because it's still something you make, and it's still something special and precious. And look, see, you've got this whole page on labelling and aftercare. It's just lovely. I'm so excited. I've been talking really excitedly to all my fabric clients about this, because I am an enthusiastic but very amateur beginner sewist. And for me, personally thinking about outlay, this book is going to be a must, and I'm going to be using all my extra bits. If I make more things for bobbin as well over the time, I won't worry about it. I won't think, oh no, but I'm going to have so much fabric left over and this is going to be this, because I know this fabric can go towards these things. And also I might even be able to use some of his childhood things as well to make a quilt. How cool's that? Yeah. I was thinking about just basic patchwork. I mean, look here, how to cut up a shirt. How cool's that? So an old shirt. Robin's got some lovely shirts that he's going to grow out of soon, and they're really nice fabrics that make a lovely quilt. Cutting your own strings. What is a fabric string? A fabric string is a long piece of fabric that is wider at one end than the other. So they don't even need to be straight. They're wonky bits. That's the point. They're wonky, beautiful leftover bits. And I promise you, I'm not getting paid to do this. This is just my genuine level of excitement when I see this book. It's just, She's a best-selling quilting author with over 150,000 books sold worldwide. I mean, go Carolyn. She started making quilts when she was a teenager, and her passion for patchwork and quilting led her to study textiles at Bath Spa University, UK. Since then, she's taught patchwork and quilting both in the UK and the USA. Now that's saying something, because they're big quilters in the USA. Anyone here from the USA? And has her quilts featured in a number of books and magazines, including Today's Quilter and French magazine Magic Patch. Carolyn lives in Tunbridge Wells, UK. Oh my gosh, she's local to where I was. That's amazing. Wow. I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's interesting because the one they've chosen for the front is so unassuming and so neutral, but it just shows off what you can do. Love it. Okay, I've spent far longer than I thought talking about that one. So what else have I got here to share with you? I have got, I think there's two more that I'd like to share with you. Two more. This one I'm really looking forward to using with my son. So it's part of the 20 to make series. So these are kind of like the pocket money style books. These ones are a little bit dearer. They're $6.99. They used to be paperback and retail at $4.99, but obviously production costs gone up anyway. And it's rock art, painting on rocks. So obviously, don't go and pinch rocks from your local beaches. We kind of need those for our natural coastal defences, but there are places you can find, maybe even in your garden. What you do with your garden is your business. But it's just got fun ideas to do. Robin's a little bit young for this just yet, but I just think with such a wet year, you've got half terms, weekends, all that sort of thing. So this is by someone whose name I can't even begin to pronounce, and I'm not going to embarrass myself or them by trying to do it. But yeah, it's just got such lovely ideas. I mean, look at the little cottages. How sweet are they? Just little book of ideas. Hedgehog, that's very sweet. You can imagine hiding that in the garden. I think, yeah, there's not really too much to say about this. It's a hardback book. It's inexpensive. It's an inexpensive craft. It's something you could do with the whole family. I think this is an absolute winner. The final one I want to share with you is bringing it back to fibre crafts again. And this is Peter, Panda and Pals. Now, Search Press have been producing some fantastic amigurumi crochet books over the past few years, particularly. Crochet had a huge resurgence during lockdown. I had so many, when I was running the local yarn store, so many young people especially coming in wanting to do it. I really like the Mabel Bunny and Pals and Robin Octopus and Pals ones. They're slightly bigger. I've got those books and I'm actually working on a ram at the moment. But I mean, come on, who doesn't need a grumpy frog in their life? I'm kind of a grumpy frog sometimes, if I'm honest. There's Peter Panda himself. I know someone who's going to love at this. Looking at you, Maddie. Maybe I'll send her a copy of this to see, just as a housewarming gift, because she's just moving to Scotland. But there we are. They're just beautiful. Zoe Zebra. So yeah, it's just another zebracorn, sorry, with a unicorn zebra. It's just, they're just quite whimsical, and they're quite simple as well, these ones. I'm not an amigurumi expert by any means. I've not done a lot of it. I'm going to be diving into this as kind of an entry project, because I want to get better at amigurumi, and I just think they're very sweet. I mean, look at this one's sweater. Yeah, I'm deliberately holding it so you can't see the instructions, sorry. Isn't it so sweet? It's just really lovely, and I think they'd be great little stash busters as well, potentially. Potentially, that's the thing. It's not falling down the trap of buying lots of yarn for it and fabric for it. Oh, I could go on for ages about the amazing books that I'm getting, but for now what I'm going to do, if it's all right with you, because you did seem to enjoy the first time I shared these, is I'm maybe once a month share some of my favourites that have come through my door as part of my work with Search Press. I'd love to know if any of you purchase these and have a go, what you think of them. Do let me know. And if you have been inspired by any of this to try things yourself, be it quilting or rock painting, let me know. Equally, if now knowing that I would like to get into quilting more, you've got any recommendations for me, things that I should try, maybe other YouTubers I should watch, please let me know below. So that's it. I'm going to stop talking because I've got to edit this and it's an absolute mess. I've done it in about 4 videos. I'm completely disoriented this week. I've got no idea what time it is, what day of the week it is. I don't know what's going on. I've got to go and plan for my Cornwall trip tomorrow, because I'm going to Cornwall tomorrow to meet with my clients down there. And then when I come back, I'm going to be picking up Mina from the station. So if I have edited it out already, I've mentioned it like 3 times, but just in case I've edited all those out, Mina, my lovely friend, also known as the Knitting Expat here on YouTube, and as a designer is coming to visit me this week. This time tomorrow, she'll be here and we will be chatting away, and oh my gosh, I think I might actually cry when I see her. It's so hard moving across country, moving away from everybody. I mean, it's the best thing we could have done. I've got zero regrets, but I do miss my friends, and the fact that she's coming all this way just means the world. We're actually vending together at Yarningham Festival in July. I think I mentioned that last time. So she's coming to dye some yarn and plan what we're going to have as kits for her designs in her designer booth at Yarningham. And I think we're going to vlog it. Mina's a really good vlogger. She's much more professional than me. She's much more experienced than me. She's got a bit of camera than me. So the whole quality should be much better. I wonder if we can figure a way of it featuring on my channel as well as hers. Or maybe I'll vlog as well on my camera. We'll see. We'll see. So that'll be next week. There'll be a vlog. I don't know what else is going through there. But yeah, I hope that you have a great evening, whatever you're making. Don't poke holes in your fingers. Let me know what you thought of all the segments in this week. And yes, winner of the 500 subscriber giveaway book, you still haven't contacted me. Please do let me know. If you don't want it, if it's not your cup of tea, then that's totally fine. There's no problem there. I won't be upset. I'll find someone who would like it to give it to. Or maybe you've got someone in your life you'd like to give it to. You don't need to feel guilty about that either. A final shout out now, because next week I will redraw. Okay, so it's the 30th of April today. We've had a good month waiting for this winner to get in touch. So if everyone's happy, I will redraw for that next time. If you want to be considered for that one, pop back to the relevant video and leave your comment underneath. There we go. Right, lovely to talk to you. I said it was going to be quick, and I've waffled on for possibly longer than I ever have in like the last year for these podcasts. So I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to go. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.